بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our study of Hujjiyatul Qatr, about validity of Qatr to be the basis of our understanding of our duty. The last point was Ayatollah Sadr's emphasis on two propositions when he wanted to explain what usuliyun, ulama of usul, say about qat. One was إن الحجية والمنجزية ثابتة للقاطع. Hujjiyah and munajjiziyah, they come together, it's like one thing. They are not separable from certainty, because these are lazim, these are implications, requirements of yaqeen. Two, if these are lazim, it's impossible to be separated, because lazim cannot be separated from malzum. What is implied cannot be separated from what is implying. Now, he wants to bring his own idea here, his own critique. He says, the first sentence which says, إن الحجية والمنجزية ثابتة للقاطع. Validity and actualizing taklif is an implication for certainty. He says we want to make a question here. أي قطع هذا الذي تكون المنجزية من لوازمه. What certainty is the one that munajjiziyah, it's one of its implications? Which certainty implies munajjiziyah? Any certainty or some types of certainty? هل هو القطع بتكليف المولى أو القطع بتكليف أي آمر? Is it certainty about an obligation from master, or an obligation from any person who has used siqatul amr or maddatul amr, any person who is commanding? Yeah, maybe a child, maybe a person who has no authority, tell me do this, don't do that, and I am certain that he has said this. Does it bring any taklif for me? No. So, with certainty, هل هو القطع بتكليف المولى أو القطع بتكليف أي آمر? Is it certainty about obligation from the master, or certainty about taklif of anyone who commands? ومن الواضح, and it is clear, أن الجواب هو الأول. The answer is the first, not any Amir, Mawla. أن الجواب هو الأول لأن غير المولى, because other than the master, إذا أمر, if he commands or she commands, لا يكون تكليفه منجزا على المأمور. Ma'mur is whom? Amir is the one who commands. Ma'mur is the one who is commanded. Ma'murun bih is the taklif. For example, someone says, bring me water. He is Amir. I am Ma'mur and bringing water is ma'murun bih or taklif. Okay? لأن غير المولى إذا أمر لا يكون تكليفه منجزا على المأمور ولو قطع به. Even if ma'mur is certain that this person has asked him, he doesn't need to do it. So المنجزية إذن تابعة للقطع بتكليف المولى. So it's a matter of mawlawiyya here, which is very important. Certainty actualizes the obligation when you are sure that it is from Mawla. فَنَحْنُ إِذَنْ نَفْتَرِضُ. So we first assume. نَفْتَرِضُ means what? Means we suppose, we assume. أَنَّ الْآمِرَ مَوْلَى. So first we suppose that the one who is commanding is our master. ثم نفترض القطع بالصدور التكليف من. Then we suppose that we are certain that this obligation is coming from master, from the master. Okay? Now question. Another question. Who is Mawla? ومن هنا نتساءل من جديد ما معنى المولى. What is the meaning of Mawla, master? Who is master? The answer is master is the one who has to be obeyed. أن المولى هو من له حق الطاعة. The master is the one who has the right of obedience. Yeah? It means that يحكم العقل بوجوب امتثاله. Aql says that you must obey him. And you deserve punishment if you disobey him. واستحقاق العقاب على مخالفته. Aql judges that you deserve, you are entitled for punishment if you disobey Mawla. Okay. Ayatollah Sa'd says if you put this together, it means that you say, by my certainty, I know that I must listen to my Mawla, and Mawla is the one that I have listened to him. So it becomes like circular. It's tautology. He says, هذا يعني أن الحجية قد افترضناها مسبقا. He says, this means that we have already supposed Hujjiyah. Because what is Hujjiyah in brackets? Al-Hujjiyah allati muhassaluha means you can reduce Hujjiyah to this. Yeah, finally Hujjiyah can be summarized to this. Summarized as this. حكم العقل بوجوب الامتثال واستحقاق العقاب على المخالفة. Hujjiyah means that our reason says we must obey and we deserve punishment if we disobey. So this has already been supposed when you say that the commander is Mawla, the one who commands is Mawla. So one of the requirements, one of the features of Amir being Mawla is that we have to obey him. So it is included in that supposition that it is our master. So when we say إن القطع بتكليف المولى حجة, when we say certainty about the obligation coming from the master is hujjah, this certainty is hujjah, this certainty is valid and brings mas'uliyah, it means that rationally we have to obey it. Okay? So what does it mean? It means إن القطع بتكليف من يجب امتثاله يجب امتثاله. Certainty about obligation coming from Mawla, and Mawla means the one that you have to obey. So certainty about the obligation coming from the one that you have to obey requires to obey. It becomes tautology. هذا تكرار لما هو المفروض. This is repetition of what was supposed. So, what we need to do is different. He says, now he little by little gets into his own personal view. لا بد أن نأخذ نفس حق الطاعة والمنجزية المفترضة في نفس كون الآمر مولاه. We should take the right of obedience. Mawla has right to be obeyed. We should take that in the fact that Amr is Mawla, so that we can see what Mawla has as a right over the one who is commanded. And big question is this: is Mawla to be obeyed when he commands only when we are certain, or he has the right to be obeyed when he commands whether we are certain or we have 60-70% of chance or 50-50? It means dhan and shak also are included. If you know your Mawla, okay, has asked you to do something, you do it. But even if you guess, there is a great chance that my Mawla wants this from me. So again, you have to obey. So, هل له حق الطاعة? Does Mawla have right to be obeyed? في كل ما يقطع به من تكاليفه. In every obligation which is known certainly, or it is أوسع من ذلك, it's larger than that, it's more expanded, and that is by supposing the right of obedience in everything which is discovered for me from his obligations. ولو بالظن, it is discovered even by dhan. You may say, dhan has no kashafiyah. Say, yes, dhan has kashafiyah, but it's not decisive. Because you say, there is water there 100%. I know there is water. Or you can say, there is water there 80%, I am sure, but not 100%. In both cases, you are telling something about reality. There is kashafiyah, but kashafiyah can be decisive or not. So, أو أوسع من ذلك, it is more broader, more expanded than yaqeen. It includes than, abil ihtimal, even just probability, or it is narrower, even narrower than qat. What is narrower than qat? No. It means some type of qat. Particular type of qat, not every qat. أو أضيق من ذلك. It's narrower than that. It's less than that. بأن يفترض. Pardon? So the question is the right of Mawla for obedience only when we have yaqeen, or it is more than that, when we have yaqeen and dhan and shak, or even not when we have yaqeen, some type of yaqeen? So suppose this is yaqeen. The first is only when we have yaqeen, we have to obey. The second is awsa, yaqeen and dhan and shak. The third is not even all yaqeen, part of yaqeen. When yaqeen is special. أو أضيق من ذلك بأن يفترض حق الطاعة في بعض ما يقطع به من التكاليف. To suppose حق الطاعة in some of the takalif which are certain. وهكذا يبدو أن البحث في حقيقته بحث عن حدود مولوية المولى. So in reality, this discussion is discussion about the borders, the limits of mastership of Mawla. So everything goes back to that. وَمَا نُؤْمِنُ بِهِ لَهُ. Please be careful. مَا نُؤْمِنُ بِهِ لَهُ. This is a discussion about what we believe for him. What we believe for Mawla. Musbiqan, already, in advance. Min haqq al-ta'a. Min haqq al-ta'a explains ma. What from right of obedience we believe for Mawla. What type of right of obedience you believe for Mawla, you accept for Mawla?
How can they be borders or limit for what Mawla wants from us? They can be done.
So you want to see, is the Mawlavi of Mawla very broad, it's limited, it's what?
That's what we're discussing.
Yes. فَعَلَى الْأَوَّلِ, based on saying it's only when you have certainty, تكون المنجزية ثابتة في حالات القطع خاصة. Munajjaziyah, actualization of taklif, is only when you have certainty. That's it. This much. Certainty. على الثاني تكون ثابتة means تكون منجزية ثابتة في كل حالات القطع والظن والاحتمال. Means in all conditions of yaqeen or dhan or shak. وعلى الثالث, it's not even every yaqeen. تكون ثابتة في بعض حالات القطع. Only in some types of qat. So, Ayatollah Sad says, what we understand rationally. As I told you, he has a particular idea about al-bara'atul aqliyah. He doesn't believe in al-bara'atul aqliyah fi shubhatil wujubiyah. Okay, normally they say qubh iqab bila bayan, but Ayatollah Sad says if there is a taklif, even if we are not sure about it, we have to do ihtiyat unless Mawla permits. So he says alladhi nudrikuhu bi'uqulina, what we understand by our own reasons, intellects, is that anna Mawlana subhanahu wa ta'ala lahu haqqut ta'a. Our master has the right of obedience fi kulli ma yankashifu lana, for everything that is discovered for us, revealed to us. It can be discovered bil qat', with certainty, or bil dhan, means more than 50% chance, or bil ihtimal, any probability. ما لم يرخص هو نفسه في عدم التحفظ, as long as he himself has not allowed us to be free. He has not said ihtiyat is not needed. Okay, if he said you don't need to be precautious, okay, but as long as he has not given permission not to do ihtiyat, we have to do ihtiyat. هذا يعني أن المنجزية ليست ثابتة للقطع بما هو قطع بل بما هو انكشاف. This means what is actually making taklif effective is not certainty. It's anything that has power of inkishaf, to show us the reality, to show us the taklif, inkishaf. Anything that can do inkishaf, whether it is decisive or not, is not important. أن كل انكشاف منجز. Every discovering, every revelation, every disclosure of reality actualizes the taklif مهما كانت درجته, whatever its rank it is, whether it is rank of yaqeen, its rank of dhan, its rank of shak, wa, it doesn't matter. ما لم يحرز ترخيص الشارع نفسه في عدم الاهتمام به. As long as we have not secured, we have not understood permission of Mawla. If permission of Mawla is muhraz, means we have established that Mawla has given us permission, because he himself says كل شيء لك حلال حتى تعرف أنه حرام, for example. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها. You have to be informed. That's another thing. If Mawla has given us permission, is another thing. But ما لم يحرز, as long as Mawla has not given us permission, we have to do ihtiyat. Okay? So, أن كل انكشاف منجز, every inkishaf, everything which reveals the reality of taklif, actualizes taklif, whatever its rank and strength is, as long as Mawla himself has not given permission to ignore Adam al-ihtimam. If Mawla himself said, ignore this, okay, we ignore it. Then he says, of course, this doesn't mean that qat' and dhan and shak are all the same from every aspect. No. If you disobey a taklif which you know certainly, it's worse than disobeying a taklif that you know by dhan, or you know just 50-50. So the blame increases when you are more certain. But this doesn't mean that if you are not certain, you are exempted or you have excuse. نعم كلما كان الانكشاف بدرجة أكبر كانت الإدانة, إدانة means condemnation, وقبح المخالفة أشد, condemnation and ugliness of disobedience becomes more. فالقطع بالتكليف يستتبع لا محالته مرتبة أشد من التنجز والإدانة لأنه المرتبة العليا من الانكشاف. So, if there is certainty about taklif, it would imply, it would lead to a greater level of actualization of taklif, and in turn also leads to great level of condemnation. It becomes more effective and it brings more condemnation if it is disobeyed, because this is very powerful inkishaf, yaqeen. Okay, but the second proposition was that hujjiyah cannot be separated from qat'. أما القضية الثانية وهي أن المنجزية حجية المنجزيات cannot be separated from certainty about taklif. Okay, he says this means ليس بإمكان المولى نفسه أن يتدخل بالترخيص في مخالفة القاطع. Mawla cannot interfere, cannot intervene and said, I have taklif and you are 100% sure that I have this taklif, but still you don't need to bother about it. He says this means that Mawla has contradicted himself. if he has taklif for me, and if I know it, how can he say, you don't need to bother about it? It means that he has cancelled the taklif. ليس بإمكان المولى نفسه. Mawla cannot أن يتدخل, intervene بالترخيص, by giving permission to disobey your certainty and separate it from munajjaziyah. Okay, this is correct. He has sahihatun. This second sentence is correct. Why? Because if Mawla tells you, you don't need to bother about my taklif, when you have yaqeen, you don't need to bother. Okay? Is this tarkhis, is this exemption, is this permission hukm waqi'i or hukm zahiri? It cannot be hukm waqi'i, because how in waqi' he can have two contradictory hukm. It cannot also be hukm zahiri, because hukm zahiri is when you have shak about hukm waqi'i. Here we don't have shak about hukm waqi'i. Hukm zahiri, usul amaliyah, is when you doubt hukm waqi'i. Here we don't have any doubt. Okay?
There's one question here. There was a time when the court ordered that whenever you ask for
he can cancel, that's naskh, it's abrogation. But he cannot keep the hawk and tell me that although you know my hawk for sure, but still you don't need to do it. So then there is no taklif. So, hazat tarkhis, this exemption that Mawla is giving, is either hukm waqi or hukm zahiri. Al-awwalu mustahilun. It cannot be hukm waqi. It cannot be a real primary rule. Why? Because لأن تكليف الواقعي مقطوع به. Because what is the hukm waqi is known, certainly. If he gives permission, this means that in reality there are two contradictory hukm. لما تقدم من التنافي والتضاد بين الأحكام التكليفية الواقعية. We said وجوب حرمة استحباب كراهة إباحة in waqi' are opposite to each other and cannot be together for one thing. And if it is said, no, it is hukm zahiri, we say hukm zahiri also is impossible, because لأن الحكم الظاهري كما تقدم, as was discussed before, is what doubt is taken its subject. أخذ في موضوعه الشك. You say, I don't know whether this is najis or not. We say, okay, it used to be najis before, so you do istishab, for example. Or if it was not known to be najis before, you assume it is tahir. But it's all istishab, bara'at, takhyir, ihtiyat, all these four usul amaliyah are when we have shak. Okay? But here we are supposing that we have certainty. So, al-qat' la yatamayyazu. This is the conclusion for Ayatollah Sadr, rahmatullah alayh. According to him, this is what the secret that I told you in the beginning. Yes? In the previous session. Certainty is not distinct from dhan wal ihtimal, from higher probability or lower probability in being munajjis. It means that dhan is also munajjis, actualizes taklif. Ihtimal also actualizes taklif, like qat'. So what is different? إنما يتميز هو means qat'. Qat' is distinct from dhan and ihtimal in the fact that it's impossible to separate qat' from munajjiziyah. Because in the case of qat', you cannot give exemption. But in the case of dhan and ihtimal and doubt, you can say you don't need to do it. فإن الترخيص الظاهري فيها ممكن. It means in حالات الظن والاحتمال ترخيص ظاهري as a حکم ظاهری, not as a حکم واقعی. As a usul عملیه, we can say people, if you are not sure, okay, you don't need to do it. لأنه لا يتطلب, because ترخيص ظاهری does not require more than supposing that there is doubt, and here we have doubt. So it is correct to say إن منجزية القطع غير معلقة. Munajjiziyah of qat is not conditional. It is there unconditionally. But munajjiziyah of conditions other than qat, like dhan and ihtimal, is conditional. What is condition? The condition is not to have tarkhis zahiri. So if there is dhan or ihtimal, and Mawla has given permission to ignore them, no problem, we ignore them. But in the case of qat, there is no tarkhis, definitely. Inshallah, we continue this next session. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.